done.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry. Hey, if it makes you feel
it
any
was
better,
my idea.
I know.
All
If it
right.
makes you feel any better, tomorrow at this time, I will be on a Spirit Airlines flight. So
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
yeah, connecting in Charlotte nonetheless. So I gotta worry about two planes,
Both Spirit,
both Spirit. Yeah,
you're gonna die. Basically, how that is.
I know. I was just
Anyway,
yeah. All right.
well, welcome back to the Dirt Drive Podcast, everybody. Slightly different format than what everybody's used to. Um, we are here with special guest Matthew J. Walkenhauer, also known as Wookie,
Hello.
coming to us live from Florida
Oh yeah.
for some reason. Anyway, we're doing the virtual thing out of necessity. If you guys actually pay attention to anything, we're really, really, really slammed with life and work and everything else. So we're making do with whatever we can get done. And this is an early morning podcast.
Hence the
So
coffee.
forgive us for the brain fog, yeah. Shout out Gearhead. Gearhead Coffee, only the best. Keep me awake here in the mornings. But we wanted to get this one done, which is why we're doing virtual here and bringing in a new guest. For the people who don't know, Wookie is the composer, writer, performer of our intro song that we've had for all 160-ish episodes. Um, he is a music extraordinaire. I've known him for far too long. Uh, Also an epic car guy. So forgive him for not knowing all the off-road stuff, but he does know what he's talking about to some degree. And I don't know, I just felt like you were going to be a good person to have this, we'll say debate, because we do typically, myself, Tim, and Trevor, and PJ all usually have the same thought process. So I'm very curious to get your perspective, because we're going to rehash some old episodes and some wild takes that I've had over the years. But
You with a strong opinion? Never.
I know, right?
Never.
So yeah, no, this will bring a fresh perspective, and I'm very curious. We know what we're talking about, but you and I have not discussed this in detail. So I am legitimately excited to put this out on the internet and see how much hate we can get.
I love it. I love it.
Uh,
Wait, can I chime in on something that you said that has
yeah,
nothing to do with the cars? Just for all the listeners that don't have this visual in their head, the theme song for the channel is from originally from a band that we used to have, and if
yep,
all of you can just use your imagination and picture Tom on stage with a guitar playing that song, it happened many times,
yep.
and
My beard was significantly thinner back then.
uh,
Some may call it a chin strap if you're privy to
oh,
the early
there is
2000s.
no doubt it was a chin strap.
Yeah, not my best look, but it's a different time period.
Yeah.
20 years
So
ago.
I needed to put that visual in everybody's head.
That's fine. Yeah, yeah, but it's probably a side that most people don't know.
Yeah.
And it's probably been 20 years since I've picked up a guitar, so it's a win-win.
Uh, Sadly, yeah.
Maybe 15,
I was gonna
realistically,
say
probably
15,
15.
probably. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Anyway,
So, all right.
where do you want to start? Do we want to go like best to worst? Just come in swinging and go hot? Like,
I hmm, I know which one I want to start with.
start us off.
I want to start with the Pacifica because I feel like
Okay.
that's the one that we're either going to totally agree on or completely disagree. It's one. It I I'm so I'm going to give my take if that's all right.
Yeah.
Minivans are not cool at
Yeah.
all, right? I
Right.
mean, they've
Yep.
been trying to make them cool. They've been trying to make them sportier. I remember when I don't know if it was this generation or the previous generation of the Honda Odyssey came out. They had all these commercials of like dads dreaming over the styling of it being this cool sporty version of a minivan, and there's just that has never actually caught on in any way for any of the minivans. Of course, there aren't that many left compared to SUVs. Um, I think it's a fresh take on a minivan being off-roading, where they're going the polar opposite direction. If the sporty isn't working, the only other real place you can go is the off-roading market. Those are the only two really hot markets, other than just your typical daily driver. So I feel like nobody else has done it. Not even close. I've never seen anything like. Would I buy one? No, but that's because I'm not. I'm. It's not something I would use. But I feel like there's got to be a market there for guys that and girls. Going to be PC on here.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that's the clientele. Um,
I'd actually love to see the demographic, but it's probably not as lopsided as you would. I
yeah,
feel like in the car segments, the off-road space definitely, I think, is a little bit more 50-50 than some of
yeah,
the other
yeah. No,
areas.
I bet you're right. But anyway, I feel like there has to be a demographic there for the Pacifica, that it's somebody that really likes the camping and off-roading, that doesn't have the ability to have an SUV for whatever reason, whether it's just practicality, they've got 100 kids, um, they want better gas mileage, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But like I said, would I buy one? No, and that might be the problem. But I think it's a fresh take on a minivan, and in what is, I think, a dying segment of cars, being minivans in general, in a very SUV world. I think it's an interesting way to try and compete. And Chrysler also hasn't done anything exciting in the last 20 years. So it's probably the most exciting thing they've done.
Yeah. I mean,
And that's
yes,
my
Chrysler
take.
specifically, yeah. Um,
So go for it. What's your take?
I wholeheartedly agree. Minivans are not cool. They'll never be cool.
Right.
I have this argument with Carrie all the time. Because she grew up in a minivan family. She wants a minivan. She thinks they're practical, and I'm just like, there's no level of practicality. I don't care if they manage to fit 40s under the thing from the freaking factory. It's just out of principle.
Yeah.
I won't own a Ford and I won't own a minivan. It's just I'm a man of principles. I can't help it. That being said, we we have lifted a handful of minivans here at the shop.
Really? Oh, I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Great company, Journeys Off Road, specializes in lifting minivans.
That's awesome.
Uh, don't ask me why. They're all Toyota Siennas.
Really?
I know the Sienna comes in all-wheel drive, so like that's like the only thing we can decipher as why we keep getting Siennas.
Yeah.
Like we have a deposit in for a 2025 Sienna to put a lift kit on it. Uh,
I mean,
it's
I've never
not,
seen one in the wild, so it's not like
yeah,
it's clearly not a popular thing, but it's interesting that you do have people. So
yeah,
there so the point is there is a clientele for that.
100% that there's a market. Uh, I enjoy the fact that there's a market
Mm.
because you get basically. I'm a proponent of put a lift kit on everything, right? Like we do it. We sell it at the shop.
Yeah.
Like I'll put a lift on anything as long as you got the money. Like sometimes it's cheap, sometimes it's expensive. It is what it is. That being said, I know this is just a concept, so I'll be amazed if it actually ends up in market.
Hmm.
If I read that correctly, it's a four-seater minivan. They took the third row out to make it more overlandy.
Which
So
I feel like if
why?
they
So
yeah.
at that point it becomes why, right? Like there's so many options out there in the van space, right? Like you have companies that just four-wheel drive conversion vans to make them into overlanders that are way more practical than you're ever going to get out of a Toyota or a Chrysler Pacifica or a Sienna or anything. So, to me, it's hopping on the coattails of the booming segment of the market in an attempt to make the minivan cool.
Right.
Like it doesn't have to be cool. It's a minivan. Like just leave it alone. Just let it be just that. Let it be the mom car with all the tech or whatever, right? Like you've made it less of a minivan, and it's not going to be a good off-roader. So what's the point? Like, I know it's a concept. We're debating over hypotheticals, but
if I have a question then, so if it had the third row, how would you feel about it?
I'd still think it's stupid. Actually, I might argue it's dumber with the third row.
Because it doesn't have the overlanding practicality.
Right. But at the same time, like, it's not like minivans are known for suspension articulation or, you know, wheelbase and track width. Like, they're not these super compact vehicles that are going to be phenomenal off-road all of a sudden because you lifted it 2.5 inches and put 31s on it. Like, you know, in the off-road space, 33s are minimum now. Like, everything that actually goes off-road has a 33-inch tire from factory or bigger. So, you're not even really... You're not accomplishing anything other than putting a package on something that's already expensive and making it more expensive and calling it off-road. And I think the market is becoming very diluted. As much as I love it, right? Like, everybody's got an off-road package. Honda's got the Trail Sport. Ford's got their, like, Timberline.
Toyota's killing it with all the TRD stuff.
Yeah, the TRD stuff's been around forever, but...
but the new... They kind of went through a bit of a slump.
But they have TRD everything now.
Yeah.
They have TRD RAV4, they have and to me, they're doing a good job with it because those packages add capability, right? You're getting lockers, you're getting the bigger tires. If you get a Trail Hunter, you're getting the winch and light bars and air compressor. Like, you're getting stuff you actually want off-road more so than the badging, some all-terrain tires, and a mild lift kit.
Right. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, there's a line, and I think the market is starting to cross it. Which kind of segues into my next point, unless you have more to talk about on the Pacifica.
I was going to say one thing from a business standpoint. When is the last time that you talked about, that you and I talked about a Chrysler car? Like, anything with a Chrysler badge. Like, not
Stellantis,
full group, but specifically with a Chrysler badge on it. Exactly.
Do they even have anything besides the Pacifica anymore? Is the 200 still a thing? Is the 300 still a thing?
I don't think either one are a thing.
I think the 300 might be.
I don't think so. I think that's done.
Anyway, it's a fair point. So they're definitely getting people talking.
Exactly. I mean, it's all publicity is good publicity kind of thing. So
I'm okay with it because it's a concept.
Right. So, but I mean, they got us talking about them. So I think it's still a win for Chrysler as a brand. The fact that they're even slightly relevant with anything other than a minivan. Whether it makes sense to do, I agree. I mean, there's definitely a lot of logistical things that don't make sense. But the fact that we're talking about it, maybe they've got something else up their sleeve that now that we're talking about them, they're on our radar. Right. And then they release something that actually is cool. And it's like, oh, yeah, cool, Chrysler.
Sure. I think a lot of that comes with the resurgence of Stellantis in North America, and
Hey, oh yeah.
bringing back the. This is an early podcast. I'm blanking on his name. Nope. Kaniskis.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Bring back Tim Kaniskis. Like, this is very on brand for what Stellantis is trying to do right now. So yeah, it's a fair point to say that they're just throwing the darts at the board.
Yeah, stuff a Hemi in there if they come back.
We will. If
Yeah.
you want to let your Pacifica put a Hemi
that was a Dirt Nerds plug right there. All right.
Yeah, no, it's.
So I have one more question on the minivan front before we go to the next thing.
Okay.
So now this is not off-roading related, but it is minivan related, which I'm sure you never thought you'd have on the podcast. But do you think hold on, do you think Volkswagen is going in the right direction with the ID Buzz from a van perspective of doing something that is cool in this retro way? Do you think that would be a better way of like Chrysler coming out with this retro kind of?
It would have to be the old Dodge, like with the bubble window.
Yeah, exactly. That's.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a better direction to go than?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So.
Because I think the ID Buzz is awesome. Stacy hates it, but.
Yeah,
like every time we see one, I like squeal like a little girl, and I'm just like, it's awesome, and she's just like, no, it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
The idea of it is awesome, and this is kind of my overarching theme of everything I'm going to complain about in this episode. is they just missed the mark in making it actually cool.
Okay.
It's too expensive.
It is expensive.
Wild, right? Like, there's so many things that can make it good,
mm-hmm.
and they didn't do any of those things. And like, I get it's a marketing thing, like you were saying. It's very much throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be the hardcore Volkswagen guys that are going to go out and buy it, right? Yeah. Regardless of the price. They've got the money. They had a van, whatever. Their 17 kids were conceived in an original van at Woodstock. Like,
right.
Like, those people exist. Like, they're going to sell those cars to some degree. I think, and I would say this is for me focusing in the off-road space for so long now. We've lost sight of cars being usable and practical. They've become pieces of tech. They've become gimmicks. They've become collector's items. Whatever it is,
mm-hmm.
whatever label you want to put on it, the utility of the car or the automobile, I'll say, as a whole, I think has started to be very diluted. I don't know if that's just me turning into the old guy. Like, I don't know if I need to get my jorts out and go drive my C4 Corvette everywhere. Like, it's...
That's a visual.
Everything just seems to be missing the mark on what car people want. At least what I feel like our generation wants, right? We grew up drooling over the cars of the 80s and the 90s that were cars, right? My BMWs never had cup holders because you need two hands to drive a car, so what would you need a cup holder for, right? Like, mm-hmm. That was BMW's philosophy in the early 90s and late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a car. Sorry.
You send my imagination into thinking of the E30 just being sideways on one of the sides.
Allegedly.
Sorry, Maria.
So to follow up on my point, I want to cover the Xterra announcement.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is twofold, and I'm going to start with the smaller, insignificant part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Motor Trend is going through a whole lot of shit right now, but somebody needs to update the editors. Do you
I
have the
actually
Motor?
don't know what they're going through, so you can.
Okay. Oh, all right. So I guess we haven't really talked about it. Motor Trend shut down all their content creation. Like the Motor Trend brand was sold again from Warner Brothers,
Okay.
so all of their TV stuff is done. So Roadkill, Dirt has been canceled forever, but Roadkill, all the stuff in the Roadkill universe, the app, all that streaming stuff
It's all gone.
was closed.
That's wild.
Uh,
When did that
yeah,
happen?
earlier this summer, a
Oh,
couple
okay.
months ago maybe,
Sorry that I'm not up on
3 months
it.
ago. Uh, which is it's been a very interesting thing from a content creation standpoint because like all those guys now have individual YouTube channels and the content's so much better than what it was when it was forced into the TV segment. But beside the point, uh, this article is dated August 22nd, 2025.
Okay.
This is the headline: We hear the Nissan Xterra is coming back, and then in parentheses, if Washington doesn't kill it first. So Aaron Gold over at Motor Trend isn't quite up on his, current events.
Not that you're going
Because,
to call anybody out by name.
I mean, he's the writer.
Yeah.
We did all this stuff with SEMA. We covered it on the podcast. It's been all over the place. The unrealistic expectation that we are going full EV in 10 years
Yeah.
has been shut down. Right? We have gone we've gone the way of not forcing people to do something, right? Up until earlier this year, we were all going to be forced to buy EVs.
Right. Now it's all about consumer choice, which I think it should be.
Well, it's partially consumer choice, but it's also technology neutral,
Right.
right? So this isn't the death of the EV, which clearly Motor Trend still thinks is happening, right? They think we're going to sit here and we're going back to carburetors and coal and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no. The point of getting rid of ACC2 and the EV mandate was that it allowed other technologies to be developed, i.e. hydrogen, better EV, plug-in hybrid, more fuel-efficient gasoline, more fuel-efficient diesel, whatever you can dream up to propel your car now has a fair chance to go to market. Forcing everything to EV was never going to work. There's not enough infrastructure for it. There's not enough technology for it. It never made sense. It was an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
And as car guys, and you and I and the rest of the community, regardless of if you're a tuner, a muscle car, off-road, motorcycles, whatever it is, like, we all have to understand this isn't a political thing. This isn't, oh, Trump is killing EVs. No, Trump is giving us a choice. And it's not just Trump, right? Like, this went through the Senate, this went through Congress. It was voted on, and essentially the people have spoken and said, no, we want to be able to choose what we drive. So I don't like that they're, one, still thinking that Washington is going to kill the EV. Technically, it's already been killed if you want to really play that game, but the market has never been EV friendly. It's been shoved down our throats from day one because California decided that they were going to go EV and all these other states jumped on. And all those states are now backing out of it, except for California, who's trying to challenge the federal law, and that's a whole other podcast that actually is probably going to be recorded here soon, because we're doing another episode with people from SEMA Action Network.
Nice.
In the next coming weeks. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, but that's a different conversation.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. Back to the Xterra, which was the whole point of this. So, calling you out, Motor Trend. We'll start there. I think Nissan as a whole, and we all already know this, Nissan's been in trouble for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And this entire thing just shows how out of touch they are as a company. The EV stuff, and I get it, this was probably planned long before all that stuff was repealed, and this was probably their attempt at going EV. It's so close to being perfect, and it's completely ruined by the fact that it's an EV.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that, so I see an article on Car and Driver from the 21st that says Xterra will return in 2028 with a V6 and hybrid power. So I feel like that would be much more intriguing.
Interesting. Because their Motor Trend does not talk about a V6 option.
Yeah, this says... it says the brand is also planning to revive the Xterra nameplate, though not as an EV as we previously thought. So it looks like Car and Driver also originally thought that. It says new body on frame platform and will sport a V6 hybrid.
Early indications from Nissan were that the new Xterra, assuming this would turn out to be the name, would be a battery electric powertrain. Interesting. That's a very interesting.
So what I get out of that is
there's nothing in this Motor Trend article that talks about it having a V6 option.
So what I get out of that is nobody actually really knows. It's speculation.
A tiny bit of hope then.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this is an actual concept or not, or it kind of looks like a rendering to me. Assuming that's the rendering, that thing is beautiful.
So
Is it yellow?
No, I see it. Oh, I see.
I got my Car Driver one now.
Do you want me to send it to you so you see the?
I have my other monitor.
All right. Yeah. This one is it's like a silhouette black, kind of like vague photo of it, which I like.
So you need to go look at the Motor Trend article.
Right. Hold on.
All right, good for Nissan. They're launching 20 new models and updating models.
Well, okay, wait. So from the car person in me versus the off-roading person in me, have you seen anything about the revival of the Q50 for Infiniti? Yeah. That gives me hope, actually.
Okay.
That gives me a lot of hope.
I'll have to go look at that.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot on it, but just the idea of, because I mean, Infiniti is equally as boring of a brand as Nissan is, and like that's the problem. It's not like one of them is thriving, at least, you know.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're both just so boring. All right, sorry. Okay, if Washington, okay, all right. So I see the yellow rendering of it. So how do you feel about that?
I really like it. I think it looks phenomenal. And the fact that there's, I guess, unconfirmed reports of what the powertrain is going to be at this point, I have a little bit of hope. I've been a big fan of the old Xterra, right? I had the Frontier, which is the same chassis, and I absolutely love that truck.
Yeah.
And I think the Xterra was a phenomenal platform that is very underrated in the off-road space. And with literally Chrysler is putting lift kits on minivans.
You're right. Yeah.
Like, why didn't Nissan bring this back 5 years ago? It might have saved them.
I'm curious to know what the size of this vehicle is. Like, if it's, and we'll talk about this more in a second, but is it in like the Bronco Sport small version of it? Is it in the RAV4 version? Is it in the 4Runner version? You know, like there's a lot of different sizes.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be 4Runner.
Yeah, that's because
size.
Yeah. Something that
Same.
I feel about this yellow rendering is that, like, so the old Xterra was so unique looking. This doesn't have the, dare I say, goofy look that the Xterra is kind of known for. It almost, like, the front half, I'm showing you on my computer as if you can see me
Yeah.
hovering, but the front half of
I'll
it,
tell him to add it in post.
yeah, the front half of it I think is perfect, but then the back half feels a little safe.
Okay.
If they
I mean,
brought
yeah.
just a tiny bit of that uniqueness to it that the original Xterra had, I think it would be perfect.
See, I like it. I like I like the fact that it's not too wild. Uh, it kind of goes back to what I was saying with like, let's just make cars normal again.
Mm,
Uh, I think it's very on trend with what we're seeing in the off-road space from a design standpoint. If you're looking at like the 4Runner and the Tacoma and the Land Cruiser and all the new Toyota stuff, it's very on par with that.
but that's exactly my point, is that it is
But
on par.
yeah, but it's different enough.
Okay.
Like, like, like,
Would you choose it over one of the other things that you just said?
um, it would be a very tight run between that and the new Land Cruiser for me.
Mm.
Like
Land Cruiser
from
is
a,
so nice.
we've had two through the shop, and
It's so nice.
and they are the out of all the new Toyota trucks, it is the best one.
Yeah.
I think visually, capability wise, just everything about it's great.
Yeah.
We've had the
They nailed it with
4Runner.
the Lexus version of it too, the GX.
Yeah, we've had the new 6th Gen 4Runner in, and
You don't like
I
it, right?
didn't I didn't love the release, and I still don't love it. The interior is very clunky and uncomfortable, which has always been my complaint about Toyota in general.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just on par with the brand.
Yeah.
I don't get that in the Land Cruiser, but I do still get it in the 4Runner. And to me, the Tacoma really didn't change much.
You don't think
Like,
so? Oh,
well, from a feel standpoint,
Oh,
like
okay, yeah.
visually, yeah, it's a completely
Yeah.
different truck. It should drive better. I think it still drives like the old Tacoma, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job with the design. Obviously, there's not enough information out there as far as what the capabilities are,
Mm-hmm.
but I like that they're clearly changing their branding.
Yeah, which
Uh,
is much needed.
yeah,
Much
because
needed.
everything about the current Nissan design brand is garbage.
Right.
So I think this is a nice, refreshing change. I was going into this ready to just hate EV entirely, and the rumor mill obviously changes everything.
Yeah.
I did not realize. I googled it real quick last night, and I only saw the Motor Trend uh, thing pop up. I did not notice the car and driver.
It doesn't mean
They
that
seem
the
to
car and
have.
driver article has any more credibility, but the fact that it's even a rumor is a good thing.
Yeah, and like part of me, and that makes me honestly kind of more annoyed by this article because this whole article is just bashing the political climate around EVs,
Yeah.
which like you can like EVs. You can go buy a Tesla or a Leaf or an Aria or whatever Nissan's EV is these days, or the any of the BMWs. Like, get whatever EV you want. If it works for you as a car, it works for you as a car. I don't see how there is any space in a true off-road enthusiast market for a real EV, like
Yeah.
full EV,
Yeah.
like the Scout brand coming back as an EV. To me, is 5 years too late because nobody wants one. The infrastructure is not going to get built now,
Right.
and they're building a solid axle EV. Like, that thing could be so perfect for off-roading, but now it's useless.
And remind me, they're tied to Rivian, right? Wasn't it?
They had like I think they had influence from something.
Because I thought I remember seeing.
Standpoint.
Yeah, I thought I remember seeing the photos of it and it looked almost identical to a Rivian.
A lot of people said they just ripped off the design.
Okay. I thought there was actually a connection.
I do think there was a connection in. I think more so the technology side of it than the design side. But yeah, it's just like. Yeah, there's a market for EVs. People are gonna buy EVs. There's a market for EV SUVs. If you're bringing, like, if they truly are gonna bring back the Xterra as an off-road competitor to the 4Runner and have an a Pro 4X version, why are we making it an EV?
Right.
Like this is. I get instant torque is great for rock climbing. Okay, but what good is it when your instant torque is gone in 15 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Like, there's just I don't see any practical use for it.
Do you think there's a market for both, like offering both a complete EV and offering the V6 hybrid?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have people.
I'll be clear. I have no issue with hybrid versions of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think anything you can do to increase a range, whether that's fuel range or battery range, is great. Like, I've got 5 cars now, and I still drive my 20-year-old Honda because it gets the best gas mileage. But it doesn't have good range. It's only a 10-gallon tank, so I still have to fill it up every 3 days, but it costs me $30 to fill it up, where if I drive the diesel truck, I'm filling that every 3 days at $100 a tank.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think that the technology of hybrid has come a long way thanks to the advances in EV.
Yeah.
And I think there's absolutely a space for that, but, like, I still just... It's overcomplicating things that don't need to be like, the real off-road market wants simplicity and utility.
Yeah.
And neither of those things ever get talked about when you start talking about hybrids and batteries and crazy technologies.
All right, I'm gonna test your brain here, or not test your brain, but pick your brain here for a second. So, what do you think is the perfect vehicle for that, for the off-roading and for overlanding? Who do you think does it best?
So, the short answer is there is no such thing as a perfect vehicle. It is, in off-roading specifically, you can't even really build a perfect vehicle. You're always going to have a give and a take of capability, function, fuel efficiency, space, whatever it is. My opinion and what I prefer are Jeeps, right? Like a Wrangler. We've always referred to it as the Swiss Army knife, right? Yeah, there's not a ton of space. It's not the most powerful. It's not the most comfortable on the highway. Whatever. My priority in an off-roader is capability off-road, right? Like that's really it. I'll sacrifice cargo space and comfort for making sure it's not going to break or get stuck or whatever it is. And it's funny because I just did a trail ride on Saturday. So today's Monday, so 2 days ago. And in the group was my Jeep, which heavily modified, so take it or leave it. 2 Bronco Raptors, and one of the new Ineos Grenadiers.
Okay.
Right. So the Grenadiers,
which I love, by the way.
I think they're cool, but they're on my list of never owning because at this point I've spent too much time around them, and it's a super expensive Jeep with twin turbos, and it has half the capability.
Interesting. Okay.
So for what the Grenadier can do out of the box, you can go buy a non-Rubicon Jeep and build it to do twice as much as the $100,000 Grenadier, and still be under 50K. Like I can take that $30,000 Sport Wrangler and put 20 grand into it, and it will blow your $100,000 Grenadier out of the box. Just like it's not even the same conversation. And Saturday proved that to me. Like there's so many little technology things because it's all BMW software that just don't belong off road.
Yeah.
The factory winch ready setup, which this probably doesn't mean much to you, but if you take a winch and you connect it to the very expensive preset wiring from the factory, like an option package, your winch only works if you're on the brake with the parking brake applied. So, for off-roading, that means if your Bronco gets stuck, I can winch you backwards, but if you're behind me and I need to go forward, I can't winch myself. Because as soon as I release the brake, it kills power to the winch. So
that's interesting. Is that
is an Ineos? It is an Ineos. It is in the owner's manual.
So I was going to say, so is that an electronic e-brake, or is it a actual pull?
It's a.
I feel like that would also affect that. Like, what if?
No, I think you're right. I think it is electronic. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I didn't know if. I mean, I guess if you're, if you have no power, if your battery's dead, I guess it doesn't matter as far as the winch is concerned. But you're not going to be able to work it no matter what. But I was just curious if an electronic e-brake made it more difficult in any way, or less reliable in any way.
So like if when we wire a winch to a Jeep aftermarket, it just goes straight to the battery.
Right.
And you have, if the Jeep is off, which it's going to drain your battery quick because it's a high draw electric motor. But like you have freedom to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
With the Grenadier, if you pay extra for this winch package, you can only use your winch in one circumstance.
Right.
Which in the off-road world is dumb.
Yeah.
Because you should be prepared to do anything you need to do. And like, so it's what's your trade-off? Do you want the luxury and the power and all the BMW frills and the cargo space and the modularness of the Ineos? Or do you want your shit to work?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Jeep, because Jeeps are notoriously unreliable, but, there's so many options there.
Yeah.
So there isn't really you build your perfect vehicle for what you want it to do. I just had a conversation with a buddy who's got a very well built Tacoma, third gen Tacoma, and he's so over breaking and wearing out all of his independent front suspension parts that as soon as he's done paying it off, he's selling it and buying a Gladiator.
Wow.
Because he drove a Gladiator and he said, for what I do, this works 100 times better. And I don't really disagree, right? Because that's where my priority lies.
Right.
But I also know people who daily drive it and they only go down dirt roads and go camping. And they need to fit their family of 4 and all the gear. So the Land Cruiser or the Bronco or something like that can be way more comfortable, fit in a parking garage, whatever it is, works better for them. Now, the common theme here is none of them are EVs. So, what does that tell you?
Are any of them even hybrids?
The Wrangler's got the 4xe.
Right.
And the new Toyota stuff has the optional iForce Max, which is a hybrid setup.
Is there any benefits to that other than the gas mileage and I mean, you get some torque from
fuel mileage is obviously a big one.
Yeah.
There's definitely some performance benefits.
Sure.
I'm not hating on things with electric motors. It's just not, in my opinion, there's just not a place for it in true off-roading. To me, it's fueling I don't want to say fakers because that's not really the right word, but it's the idea of like, oh, check out my off-road rig, and you don't actually go off-roading,
Yeah, it's a poser.
right? Like, yeah, but yeah, and I just the same thing that like the tuner thing went through at the tuner community went through with Fast and the Furious movies and all the other stuff of the huge spike where everybody wants underglow and chrome bits and danger to manifold. Right, we're proud of stuff.
I went through that. My
We
car,
all did.
my O2 Civic had 0 power, but it looked cool.
Right. But like, and I don't know how many of our listeners can relate to this one. Look at H2O Fest, right?
Yeah.
That tuner and that stance community grew. That event got completely out of hand, and everybody piled into it, and ended up ruining a really good event to the point where they just canceled it because because the shenanigans were so high.
That was the Ocean City one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The background there for anybody who doesn't know, H2O was a Volkswagen Audi specific show in Ocean City, Maryland that got invaded by all the same kids that are doing all the street takeover shit now. And it was burnouts and drag racing and stuff on the strip in Ocean City. And it became a bit on the internet basically to show how many tickets you could rack up in a weekend. Right. So like people were literally going there to try and get their cars impounded to the point where the Ocean City was like, screw it, you have to cancel the event. We're not hosting your event anymore. And the off-road community is very much teetering on that edge right now of please don't ruin a good thing because you're getting a lot of people who are getting into it, and whether there's a component of education and there's a component of you can't correct bad people are going to do bad things regardless.
Can't fix stupid.
But we're facing more land closures and trail closures and restrictions than ever because of the number of people going out and off-roading now. And we're making it more accessible, but we're not prioritizing what it is and what it should be. Yeah. And that's creating a problem, in my opinion.
So, all right. So, on that note, and this is coming from somebody that is not involved in the off-road community. So, with these trails and things, are there safety regulations in place, or not really? Like, how is that regulated?
So, from a public trail standpoint, most of your BLM land, National Forest land, whatever it is, they basically blanket it under it's got to be a registered vehicle.
Okay.
Whether it's a secondary, like registration for off-highway vehicle, so like your side-by-sides, ATVs, dirt bikes, that kind of stuff. A lot of those jurisdictions will say like the U.S. Forest Service does not allow side-by-sides on any of their Forest Service roads.
Okay.
It has to be a street legal vehicle registered. In places like West Virginia, where side-by-sides are street legal, they still restrict side-by-sides from driving the Forest Service roads. National parks get a little bit different because it's a gated thing, and there aren't really trails in national parks. It's more of roads. And, like the Forest Service and BLM are really the two that are wide open, and they both say basically you have to follow the rules of the road. So there are officially speed limits, tread lightly principles, pack it in, pack it out, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But out west you're talking hundreds of thousands of acres, so it's not like it's patrolled regularly.
Yeah.
So it very much is a self-policing thing, and that's where the problem comes in.
Right. Yeah. Right. If you get people that don't know what they're doing to then essentially police themselves.
And that's there's definitely a component of it that's education, as far as being the voice to keep people honest, and just kind of there's a good sticker. I forget who sells it, but the saying is basically trash leaves trash, right? Like don't be a trash person and leave your trash in the woods.
God, that
trash leaves trash.
What a great life statement.
Right?
That's
And like
great. I love that.
everything in life can be summed up as don't be a dick.
Right.
Uh, and I like the accessibility of what the car companies are building us, which is great because it's getting people into the hobby and the sport and what like business is booming because we're putting lift kits on minivans. So it's like it's great in that sense, but you're also running into this like overly capable vehicle. We talk about like the driver mod. Like you can get a really capable vehicle from the factory
Mm-hmm.
and not know how to use it, and that's a danger to yourself, a danger to people. There's got to be a point where we just stop
Right.
because like that Pacifica, that minivan is going to get somebody into a sticky situation that is going to cause a problem.
Right.
Because the market for a lifted minivan is not the same market as your Wrangler.
Right.
And the Wrangler, the Broncos, the 4Runners, all your traditional off-road stuff, those people either have a background or are getting into it because they want to do it, not just going, oh, that looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's no different than in the sports car world where, people that don't know how to handle the Mustang culture,
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
Yep. Yep. All of a sudden, you have a supercharged V8 and you can't keep it in a straight line.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully we're not in a public place of popping curtains.
Spectators everywhere.
Yeah. So like there's that where like a lot of the bad stuff is happening in a private sense.
Yeah.
But that's also what makes it to me almost worse because there's no accountability, right? Like all of a sudden your favorite trail is closed because somebody dumped a couch and a bunch of mattresses, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's awful.
Or worse, they're like locally we have a trail that's actually on it's state land, and the main section of the trail is like for cars, and then there's a bunch of offshoots that are officially ATV only. Like, so you can get your ATV day pass and you can go run up and down all these trail networks.
Mm-hmm.
The Jeep community loves to go out there and run the ATV trails in their Jeeps. And people have been ticketed, and the rangers are always saying, like, don't, Jeeps are restricted to this part of the trail, you can't go on this part. There's signs all over the place, but that trail is boring, so people ignore it and they go off-roading. And it's like, well, if you drive an hour south, there's a harder trail to do.
Right.
So just go to the harder trail.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of forcing off-road on people, and people are enjoying it. People are getting into it, but at what point do we just stop putting mud terrains and lift kits on every car that comes out of a factory as an option?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you see in your professional opinion, do you see the industry flipping at all in like the near future or the future in general?
Yes, but also no. I know the market plateaued a little bit in 23. I honestly have not looked at the 24-25 report yet. I think it came out relatively recently, to see exactly where things are at as far as up or down or even.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure truck and off-road, as far as SEMA is concerned, is still considered the fastest growing, which is evident in the fact that we're talking about 28, 29 model years coming out with new off-road vehicles.
Did COVID have anything to do with like the overlanding boom?
Huge.
I would think
basically
so.
everybody, and that's where they kind of attribute that plateau. Is everybody who got into it, it boomed, and then either like the lesser hobbyists backed out, or the hardcore guys have kind of over that 4 or 5 year period kind of really perfected their setup. There's been talks of like people kind of recycling, but in overlanding specifically, after you spend $150K building your perfect rig, You're not going to just sell it and start over.
Right.
And so that's kind of what they attributed that plateau to, was people spent all that money over that 3, 4, 5 year period and built their perfect rig, and now they have their perfect rig and they're just kind of maintaining it, or making small changes to adapt it. So it's definitely an interesting point, because like I would say our business reflects that. Like, we're doing a lot of lift kit repair type stuff where it's already lifted and it's just worn out and needs to be replaced or maintained or whatever, versus like getting brand new Jeeps, which is partially the sales of Jeep, because that's a whole nother episode. But so yeah, the market's definitely in a weird place, and my concern, and this is just an overall trend, manufacturers love to oversaturate everything, right? We just went through this whole period right before COVID. Every manufacturer had like 30 different models, right? Like Jeep had what, 4 different small size SUVs?
Right. Yeah.
You had the Renegade, the Cherokee, the Compass, and
the Patriot.
The Patriot were all live at the same time. Why?
Right.
Now, the irony is, we do have a new Cherokee coming in 26.
Good segue. So what are your thoughts on it?
Why? We still have, like, I know they killed the Compass, but they're like, we're just playing musical name badges at this point. We're building the same car over and over again, and we're just putting different badges on it. Like, yeah, you need a mid-size or compact SUV or whatever they want to call that, like, specifically, but it's to sell numbers. It's a hybrid. This makes sense as a hybrid.
Yeah, because I imagine what they're going for is
exciting.
I imagine what they're going for is the RAV4 CRV. That segment.
Yeah,
I
would imagine. I mean, I like it overall. Like, it looks like a mini version of the Grand Cherokee, as it should. It's not the ugliest thing they've put out in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a feeling one way or the other, and I think personally, for where Jeep is at as a brand right now, is a bit of a problem. They're just putting out more generic, like, commuter cars.
Yeah.
So, that being said, the last Cherokee, when we had the rental Trailhawk for the Vegas trip 3 years ago now, 22, and that thing was a beast for a road trip car.
Really?
For as small as it was. Yeah, like the Trailhawk packages, I think, are great.
And I would assume they'll do that with this too.
Yeah, car driver says they're expecting it. There's nothing confirmed one way or the other, but I mean, for the brand, they should. Like, that's kind of been the pet peeve with Jeep as a whole, is they don't seem to care what the market wants.
Yeah.
Where everybody else is putting an off-road package on every vehicle, you get like 2 off-road options from Jeep. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I feel like we had this conversation recently where, as far as the Cherokee nameplate in general, do you think I think you had said the XJ was kind of this like anomaly almost, where it just, like, you almost can't replicate it. Do you think that's still the case seeing this new one?
100%. From a historical business standpoint, that Cherokee badge, like, goes back to the 80s and Lee Iacocca and bringing the Caravan and the XJ and, like, all these great things that saved Chrysler as a brand in the 80s. So, like, I think the XJ has some of that historical significance built into it, but it also still performed as an off-roader so well that like the XJ and basically all of your Wrangler platforms are parallel in fandom, right? Like all Jeep people respect an XJ. Like you just if you off road and somebody rolls up in a lifted XJ, you're like that guy. Like it's the mullet, right? Like
Right.
you know, like that guy's gonna party and it's gonna be fun, and that's gonna be the only Jeep that gets off the trail at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's what you started with too.
Yeah, yeah. It's I obviously a little biased, but
You have two or three.
Two.
Okay.
I had three ZJs, which were the early Grand Cherokees.
Right.
Over the years. Or was it four? I don't even remember.
You got to write a book on all the cars you've had.
Yeah. I actually, sidebar, was just having that thought as I was driving my old Grand Cherokee, which is now the new to be Grand Cherokee.
Yeah.
Or it's like, do I count this as two? Does it count, or is it still one?
It's one. You gotta count it as 1.5 because then it'll be a story. Because somebody will say, "How do you have half a car?" Well, let me explain.
Yeah, of all the cars I've owned that I wanted to buy back, that was on the list, but it's not like I don't feel accomplished buying that back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Like, if I were to track down my old 1 Series and buy that back, I would feel very accomplished.
God, I love that car.
That thing has probably been crushed long ago.
I love that car so much.
That was such a good car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't back to the Cherokee.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It exists. I hope they thin down the number of models. Like, give me the Renegade, give me the Cherokee, give me the Grand Cherokee, get rid of the Wagoneer as a whole, and give me the Wrangler. Like, that's all we need.
Mm-hmm.
Or get rid of the Grand Cherokee L and keep the Wagoneer. Like, there's like they had 3 different versions of a third row full size SUV. Like, and they can't figure out why they were losing money. Like,
yeah, right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a step in the right direction.
I think it'll sell.
I agree. I agree with that. I think 27, 28 is going to be a big model year for the Jeep brand as a whole. I know 28 is rumored for a new Wrangler, because that was what they planned the JL to go through, which is the current one. So that's supposed to end in 28. So that means there's, in theory, a new one coming. So.
Okay, so sorry. Go ahead, and then I'll ask my question.
It's going to be very interesting to see if the market demand for off-road stuff continues over the next 3-5 years, because it's heavily saturated.
Yeah. Do you think Jeep has a place in that, going to the back to the Xterra that we were talking about, and the 4Runner, which are both, we'll say, kind of niche, unique vehicles? Do you think Jeep has a place for that? Do you think there's a nameplate that should come back that would be that place? Do they need something goofy?
No. I think the Wrangler checks all those boxes. That's been a discussion and an argument amongst the usual cast of characters on this podcast, as far as will the Wrangler ever be independent front suspension to compete with the 4Runners and the Broncos? I am of the mindset it won't be.
Yeah.
It'd be brand suicide for them to do that. I don't think they need to. I think they let the Xterra, the Bronco, the 4Runner, the Land Cruiser, let them all duke it out. Let them fight for the market share of soft roading.
You're right. I like that, soft roading. That's funny.
because the Jeep can go off-roading and it can go hardcore off-roading.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's the only reason I like Jeeps for that reason. Is I can do I can do anything I want to do. I can go mudding, I can go rock crawling, I can go camping, I can do all of those things in a Wrangler if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just if they start selling more Wranglers again, maybe doing something between the Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee to compete, but I just don't see a reason for them to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this new Cherokee will be a real player, or do you think or not really?
No,
As far as that's concerned, like as we were talking about with the XJ, for instance, where it did the best of everything.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily look like it will, but do you think there's any hope that it could?
It'll be your city folk that like the outdoors that can't fit a full size SUV in the parking garage.
Yeah.
And they,
it's almost more like what Subaru has become.
Yeah. Yeah. Which again, I think that's a huge chunk of the market. And they should absolutely go after the market share.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we do preach it. Like any soft roading is still off roading. Like any outdoor activity usually involves some level of off-roading.
Mm-hmm.
If you're fishing, if you're mountain biking, if you're a hiker, if you're a rock climber, whatever it is,
capable.
You have to get to your campsite or your trailhead or whatever, and that's where your Subarus and your TRD RAV4s and your Cherokees and Grand Cherokees, like, they're perfect for that because they are comfortable on the highway. Then they get good gas mileage, and you can fit them in garages and parking garages. But yet they have good all-wheel drive systems, and if you get the off-road package, it probably has some minimal skid plate and a roof rack and, whatever else to haul your gear around. Yeah. So, like, that market exists and will always exist, and it's not the same as what the Wrangler crowd is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're more like lifestyle vehicles, I feel like, than actual real off-roaders.
Yeah, and that ties into that my previous point of we don't have to make everything a lifestyle vehicle, right? Like, we can have a handful of Jeep models or an upgraded Toyota model. Like, not everybody has to make this off-road package for the same market.
Mm-hmm.
The off-roaders will be the off-roaders, and they will argue over 4Runners and Wranglers and Broncos forever. And even the truck market is getting into it with the ZR2 packages,
right?
Trail Boss and all the crazy stuff. The AT4s, like all these truck builds that are full size off-road rigs. Like, there's definitely an interesting change in things.
Yeah. The AT4 in particular, that package.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
If I was gonna get a truck, it'd be that.
Yeah. Well, and even that, like, from an off-road standpoint, like, that's a well put together package as far as what you get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where some of the brands, I think, are kind of missing the mark, and that's where I think the Pacifica falls.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no need for it. Like, you're in the Stellantis house, like, just be happy with you. Just let Jeeps be Jeeps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, we're probably gonna get a Trailhawk Cherokee. We have Trailhawk Grand Cherokees. You have Wranglers. Like, give me an off-road package of the Wagoneer, because they totally missed the mark on that. Like, give me a real, like, compete with those Z71 Suburbans or those ZR2 Suburbans. Like, give me a Trailhawk and everything in the Jeep lineup, and not a lifted minivan.
Yeah, that'd be sick. The Wagoneer thing.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
A couple years ago, they did one as a like Easter Jeep Safari concept. The funny thing is, they did it 2 years in a row, and they just recycled the same exact design. They just changed the color around. Like, they literally took, I think it was the 22 concept of the Wagoneer Adventure, or whatever they called it,
mm-hmm.
and then in 23 they just changed the wrap it was like the exact same interior. They just rethemed it. Like it was such a phone-in design job.
Lazy.
Like, and that's like Jeep as a company has been so lazy with this stuff, and like the Cherokee's kind of the same boat for me. I wasn't expecting it to be anything exciting, but to me it's another lazy check the box. Here's a compact SUV for teenage kids that has a hybrid.
Do you think that ignorance is going to be a flaw in the future?
Uh, I would call it arrogance more so than ignorance.
That's
And
probably the word I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I would say the last 2 to 3 years, it's already bitten them in the ass.
Yeah.
Because they just stopped innovating. They stopped doing. They stopped building what they were good at and tried to build other things, and it failed miserably.
Is that like leadership really high up in like Stellantis in general and just
when FCA was bought
Yeah.
and became Stellantis, basically the higher ups at Renault put a French guy in charge of North America.
Right.
And he went and said, "No, the new Wrangler's gotta drive better, gotta get better gas mileage, gotta have this." And then all of a sudden we had $75,000 Wranglers that were hunks of shit. They managed to make an okay, but not really that great engine worse. Like the 3.6, the 3.6 Pentastar that's in 2.7 million JKs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a good driving engine, but especially now at 150 plus, like they're literally just falling apart.
Wow.
You know, if you Google the 3.6 tick or the Pentastar tick, like there's all these issues out there, and they were supposed to be fixed, and they've literally just transferred into the new version of the 3.6 and started coming up earlier.
Jesus.
Like,
and is that just them messing with perfection essentially? And
I mean, I wouldn't go so far to call the original 3.6 perfection, but
you know what I mean.
They went the wrong direction.
Right.
And like now, there's there's like a bunch of the 4-cylinder turbo issues. Like there's all these things that are just coming out with the reliability, and it's all the cost cutting to get power seats into a Jeep, right? Like, or the power tops, like all these things they wanted to do to make them more luxurious. They cut costs somewhere else, and now it's biting them in the ass, and nobody's buying their cars. So
take that, Jeep.
Yeah, keeps me in business because nobody's replacing their Jeep.
Yeah.
And that's always been my argument: is the Jeep Wrangler is the easiest car to sell, because if you want a Jeep Wrangler, you're buying a Jeep Wrangler regardless of how big of a hunk of shit it is. And my parking lot is proof of that. Because no matter how much we tell somebody it's not worth putting the money into it, they pay the bill. So
it's that brand loyalty.
Yeah. And Jeep's just been basically wiping their ass with it, going, "Ha, idiots."
And I guess that was kind of my question of, do you think that, as you said, as the arrogance, is that going to come and really bite them at some point if they don't innovate?
Yeah. I think what they decide to do for 28, 29 model year with the Wrangler will very much dictate what happens to them as a company.
Yeah.
Because, like, Chrysler's down to 2 models. They've already overhauled Dodge or all the Ram trucks, which was desperately needed because nobody was buying those things because they were so freaking expensive.
That's funny you said about Dodge now. It's only a couple of models too, and I don't know how this new Charger's going to do. So
yeah. Well, the Challenger EV basically tanked. So
was there a Challenger EV?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was 2 or 3 years ago. When they killed the original Challenger, the new one.
No, that's the Charger. That's the Charger. It's
thought they were calling it the Challenger.
That's the Charger. There's the Daytona package. Now you're talking in my world. There's the
Yeah.
Daytona package of the Charger, which is completely EV,
Oh,
and
it is
then
Charger. You're right. Okay.
now for I think it's a 26 model year. I don't know if it's 25 or 26 that comes with the Hurricane.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've only seen a couple of them on the road, the EVs, and I mean they look cool. I like the retro look, but
Yeah.
I do
I
like
don't
that
know
they
if I,
offer a 2 door and a 4 door. I think that was really smart
yeah.
because you're getting both the Challenger and the Charger clientels from the previous gens.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
think it looks better as a 4 door.
Yeah.
Um,
According to Dodge's website, there's the Charger Daytona, the Hornet, and the Durango are the only 4 models listed.
all right, the Hornet is just the Alpha,
That little
right?
hatchback thing.
Isn't it based on the
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
forget what the name of
Uh,
the model is.
not Julia.
No, I wish it was based on the Julia.
Yeah. Early morning. Yeah. So it's interesting because I really thought we were gonna see off-road stuff cool down.
Hmm.
And as a whole, it doesn't seem like that's the case. The EV stuff is definitely cooling down,
Yeah, yeah,
and like that, I think I think it'll be a little bit longer. I'll argue it'll be after Trump's out of office that you'll get like the collective sigh of relief from the auto industry that they don't have to do
yeah,
EVs
yeah.
as a whole.
It's funny.
Um,
You were talking about just car culture in general, and the 80s and 90s cars for us growing up was like the fandom was so huge.
yep.
Maybe this is just the optimist in me and this might be a whole different episode of this podcast, but
Probably.
I feel like you take like World War II and then you get the 50s right after and you get this amazing car culture, and then you have the gas crisis in the 70s, and then you get the 80s and 90s of amazing car culture again, and I feel like the EV section of history is a really similar time for cars where they're I think there will be Gen Zers and stuff that are just like, oh, cool. I want a cool card, not or maybe it's Gen Alpha at this point that are gonna, our kids' generation that's gonna be like,
Yeah.
no, we want to go back to real good car culture, and there might be
I
a market for that.
Yeah, I think we're swinging in that direction
Yeah,
because I think the technology is kind of sorting itself out and what's going to actually work over the next couple of years. Now that like there's not a mandate,
hmm
and I think realistically in the next 5 years everything is some form of hybrid. I think that's the smart, easy transition.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, because you don't have to change infrastructure.
right, and you don't have to change a lifestyle. You don't have to change anything.
Yeah, yeah,
You're just, you're just extending range, which is then lowering fuel usage. It's a win-win.
yeah, and you get the instant
And
torque.
the irony is, I was studying it in 2011 and 2012 in school, and back then it was hybrid is the way of the future.
Hmm.
And here we are in 2025 talking about
Talking about it,
hybrids,
yeah,
and everything's getting
yeah,
hybrids. It's a long process. Like you're not going to be able to just change anything overnight, especially in a technology that's not ready.
right, right.
Uh, and that's like I think the thing that I'm really excited for is what are we opening up now, right? Like assuming all of these mandates don't stick, right? Like all that legal political bullshit works out. What other technologies do we end up developing? Like I know there's a guy on TikTok that's been like making gasoline from recycled plastic.
That's interesting.
Like he's like a PhD or whatever, and he's like literally built a mini refinery in his backyard, melting down plastic water bottles and making synthetic gasoline.
That's awesome.
Like,
there's the solution right there.
6 months ago, there'd be no market for that. He'd get zero investments because we were all forced into EV. What good is a synthetic gasoline if everything's going to be battery powered? So, like, there's so many possibilities. Like, we're back in that, like, cars can be cool again. We can do cool things. We can make synthetic gasoline and not have to change anything. We can have hybrids that make cars go way faster, right? Look at the LaFerraris and all the
the Holy
stuff,
Trinity, yeah.
right? F1 is hybrid.
Yeah.
We can do cool shit with this technology without being nothing but Teslas and Priuses or Prii, whatever the plural of Prius is. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good to come. I say this lightly. I wish the off-road stuff cools down just a touch.
Why?
I just don't want to beat it to death. I think from a motorsport and an enthusiast standpoint, it's kind of the most accessible one out there. You don't have to pay for trails if you don't want to, right? Where you have to pay for track time. There's plenty of legal public four-wheeling. There's not a whole lot of legal public racing.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I would argue there's zero. Maybe a 1%. Maybe there's a track open to the public somewhere in the country. But as long as we don't screw it up for ourselves, trails are always going to be accessible.
Yeah.
And I think there's a chunk of our generation of car guys that are realizing that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't take your family. Would you take Morgan to any of the car meets we used to go to on a Saturday night?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely
but you
not.
can easily load Morgan into an SUV and go bounce around the sandy trails of the Everglades.
No.
Like,
she's allowed to do that when she's 75.
Exactly. I joke, Tommy's gonna get the shop Jeep when he turns 16, because by then it probably won't run. and if it does, it's gonna be so slow compared to everything else on the road. He'll be fine.
Love it.
So, yeah.
Parenting.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I think back to the days of having the 1 Series. There's not a chance in hell I'd be bringing my kid to the meet at the mall that starts at 10 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where people are bouncing rev limiter and doing donuts in a parking lot.
That's when the first meet starts. Then you have the real meet that starts at midnight.
Yeah. And then you're trying to leave the meet and you got to dodge all the street races.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not bringing my family to that, but I'll bring my family camping for the weekend. It scratches the itch. It's the road trip. It's the freedom of the car that we grew up with.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yep. I don't know. You got any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, thank you so much for having me on this. This has been so much fun.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely do this again.
Yeah, I'd love to. We
got a lot of stuff going on. I think we're still on the every other week format right now. But the fall gets real busy for us, so should have some fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff the end of this year into the beginning of next year from a news standpoint. So probably get you back on and we can nerd out and talk industry for.
Heck yeah. I'd love to.
More. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what else. Because I think 26, 27, 28, I think are big model year changes for just about everybody.
Yeah.
Ford's due for some. Toyota just went through all theirs. Jeep is definitely, Jeep is coming with all their leadership changes. So,
which is exciting. Even for somebody that isn't in the off-road community like myself, it's still exciting.
Still new cars.
Yeah, exactly.
I still get excited when BMW posts new models, even if they are hideous.
Don't get me started, dude. Don't get me started. There's one vehicle that I think they have right now, and it's the XM.
I was going to say the Z4.
I don't think they have it right.
No,
I don't. I really
I
don't.
like it.
I
Different podcast.
well, yeah. At least
I
at least
do.
I had mentioned an SUV, the XM.
That's true.
Have
I'll
you
give you
heard
that.
one? Have you heard one accelerate?
Yeah.
Oh my god, they sound incredible.
I would not. I was not expecting you to say the
Oh
XM,
no, I think the
but
XM is
that's
perfect.
yeah. You really don't like the Z4.
Mm-mm. I don't hate it, but I think they could do better. Um, like if I was gonna, I would be in a Supra before, and the Supra is such a poser in itself, where it's not a real Supra either, the Mark V,
Yeah.
but I would still choose the Supra because it feels more authentic to me than the Z4 does. Like I don't.
Aren't there more BMW logos on the Supra than there are
Yeah,
Toyota
oh,
logos?
100%. And that's why I
Yeah.
said it's also a poser. Like that's not a real Supra. But
Yeah.
as a car, I think they still nail the styling and everything better on the Supra. It's like you look at the Supra and at least go, "Oh yeah, that's still like it
Yeah,
it still
that's
does
true. I'll give you
something
that.
for me." When I look at the Z4, it doesn't do anything the way a Z3 or the Z4 that you had,
Yeah.
or let's talk about the great Z8. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they were so beautiful, and I don't feel that way about this particular Z4.
I think maybe the reason I'm drawn to it is because it's the only model right now that doesn't have a ridiculously sized grill.
Yeah,
Like
that's true. Yeah.
maybe that's why I'm like partial to it because it's the only BMW that looks kind of normal.
Yeah,
But
not the M3s looking like a whale trying to get
yep.
fish.
All right.
All right,
Before we
we're
go down,
going on all kinds of tangents.
yeah, that's a
This is
whole other
another
podcast.
thing. Sorry.
You guys know where to find us, DirtNerdsOffroad.com, DirtNerds Motors on Instagram, Dirt Drive Podcast on Instagram. You don't do socials, but your music is under Matthew Walkenhour on Spotify, right?
It'll be
Or
under MJ Dawson is what the new
MJ
yeah.
Dawson
So
does. Okay.
that's coming in the next few months. So the next
Yeah.
podcast I'm on, I will talk about that. Not
Yeah.
quite yet.
Yeah. If you guys like the intro song, you should check out the rest of his songs.
Thanks.
There's what we got. What is the one album still on Spotify?
No, took it all down.
No.
Rebranding.
No.
Rebranding. So
All right.
that's why I said next episode.
We'll make the
Yeah.
official announcement on that.
Yeah. I appreciate the plug.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, thanks for knocking this one out first thing in the morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this was fun. We'll do it again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it.
Maybe we'll do one in person.
We could do it in a couple weeks.
I know.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Sounds good.
Sweet. See you later.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Record.
I just pressed stop.